last episode, after finishing up the brakes, I said I'd get straight to getting it running. This was a lie. Check out the window mechanisms. So the window in this actually winds, but it doesn't wind up and down. It goes from left to right. And it's got this little gear. It's a little rack and pinion setup. So when you spin the handle, you just directly turn this gear. And then you move the whole worm gear assembly back and forth. It's actually as simple as it gets. It was kind of stuck and all the grease was dried up, but after cleaning it, putting it together, it works pretty good. Since I had basically the whole window mechanism out, I decided to clean it and polish the chrome. Turned out pretty nice. I think now it's time to get it running. Check out the battery.
Battery sticker wrap. That's pretty cool. Still there. I'm not going to use it. Just tied up those. And immediately the interior light is on. Super cool. See if any other lights go on. Oh, that is on. Oh, that's so cool. It's alive.
Okay, maybe now it's time. But first, check out the key.
So, I don't think I have the right key, or the ignition is kind of stuck or something, but I looked behind and there's 3 wires, so hot wiring it is, well, that's my option. That's what I'm going to do.
The ignition switch didn't allow me to turn the car over, so I decided to remove the 3 wires on the back and do it myself. Gotta see which one of these has power though.
Okay, that's obviously a power wire. So, this one and this one might be ignition, or it might be starting. Oh, it's starting. Alright, got the washer bottle in, cleaned up. Original hose and stuff. It's actually kind of cool. You can see it's darkened by where the rubber is. Very cool. But we're dealing with wiring. So the only funky wiring is this. They have this wire connected to this yellow one. This is original, I assume. This looks official. And then I think it goes to the horn because this wire is not original. Also, that yellow wire just is a nice bundle here. And then that black wire just goes into the fuse box. On this car, I realized there is no horn button. I mean, there's no horn button here. And then this goes to the horn. That's not original. But the horn is actually activated by this. Pulling this back. So, I'm going to try and see if I can redo that anyway. Doesn't feel like it works.
Spoiler alert, I couldn't get the horn working. I don't know what's wrong. There's a school zone sticker on the dash. This just indicates a time zone when it is safe to drive your car. So, when the inevitable breakdown happens, you know you'll have help pushing it. Anyway, look at that dash. That's not going to help it run, is it? Ooh, much better.
That is hilarious. That's high beam. No! Oh, that's cool.
I had to change a bulb, and well, that led me down another rabbit hole.
So, these little O-rings go on the thread of the screws to hold the screw in place, basically. But they're still super malleable. I guess it's hard to display on camera, but they're super flexible still. It's insane. But I polished the screws again. Preservation's coming along.
Alright, let's get it running. But first, check out this newspaper I found.
Whoa, Thursday, January 11th, 1968. That's hilarious.
Alright, it is time to actually begin on the motor. So first, we'll start on the carburetor.
This is the carburetor that's currently on the NSU. Presumably last running with it. They did some funky connections here. I might have to fix this cable, we'll see. But it's actually a Volkswagen Beetle carburetor. So, I would like to get the original Bing back on. There's a joke that they're called Bing carburetors because that's the noise they make when they hit the trash can. But this guy is going to be replaced with this one. So, according to the number here, 28-15, this is a 30 horsepower export model carb, and this is a 20 horsepower carb. They basically look the same. I'm gonna swap a few things. This notch is kind of nasty looking. Let's see how this cleans up.
Just comparing the two carburetors, and from what I can tell, they appear to be both equally as disgusting. But there's a few parts that cross over, which is nice, and I should be able to make one good one. At least that's the plan. Oh my god, temperature probably down.
After ultrasonic cleaning, managed to save these numbers actually. It's actually much nicer, but there's still a little bit of work to be done. It's not bad though. Not too bad, because I kind of want to leave the original look. Like this kind of casting, whatever you want to call it. I like that. So, yeah. Just going to clean up some of the little crevices and then the inside a little bit more, and then I think we're good.
I was able to save this little filter from the one actually. Had to kind of redo the soldering, but turned out pretty good.
So the carb is ready to go back together. This is spinning nice. Used to make lots of noise, took it apart, cleaned it and oiled it. I like that. So far, so good, except for the float. The shaft inside actually spins. It's no longer attached here. So it's kind of more of a sink right now. I think I just have to resolder that.
After some polishing and resoldering, I think my sink is a float. We shall see. I'm not totally confident in this little thing, but kind of the only one I got, so wish me luck. And here we have it. After some plating, some ultrasonic cleaning, some new gaskets, I think the carb is ready to go. Now that the carburetor is ready to go, we are working on one of the last steps, and that is ignition. So I put new spark plugs in, but I replaced the points. And there's kind of an interesting system, and you'll see this is what I'm doing here, of adjusting the timing. Now, if it weren't for the manual, I would have no idea what to do here, but essentially you do the point gap, and then you adjust the assembly that the points are bolted on, and you rotate that until your test light lights up. Now, of course, you have to be at top dead center to do this, but it's such a weird design in a way, but it seems to work. Alright, adding a bit of ether as the carb is totally empty, and I did test for spark. I do have spark, so it should do something, but spoiler alert, it doesn't. After a few more tries that proved it wasn't doing anything, I decided to recheck the ignition and then change a few things in the carb. And that seemed to help. Did something. Hooray! It's running! Well, not exactly hooray. Mixed feelings. Other than the fuel leak, you can tell it's not exactly super happy. Now, it took a long time to get this thing running. I cut out a lot of footage, but it did have good spark and fuel. So there's definitely something else that's holding it back. And I believe that is kind of compression. We did a compression test, and it's like around 60 after it was warmed up. So, not very good. But I goofed around with it a little longer, changing carbs and just fiddling with it, and I did end up getting it running kind of okay. Enough to drive down the laneway and stuff, but it needs an engine rebuild. Well, looks like I will have to rebuild the motor. But first, let's machine the exhaust tips. They didn't fit on the muffler, so I had to do that.